So, distinguished Tibet practitioners, professionals, experts, teachers, administrators, welcome to this week first webinar organized by CPSC. And I hope you all are fine and doing well in your respective field of work. As you know, today's topic is Business Incubation Center, BIC, in Tibet Institution. For that topic, we have today two speakers. First is our respected Director General of Colombo Plan Staff College. First, he will present about the business incubation conceptual level. Then after his presentation, I will start my presentation on BIC in Tibet Institution. So now, without further delay, I like to request Dr. Ramer Lamitsane to start the presentation. And after his presentation, I will start my presentation. Then we'll have a Q&A session. After that, our respected Director General will close today's session. Thank you. So Dr. Saab, please.
Okay, good morning. Respected Tibet professionals around the globe, my team, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Colombo Plan Staff College, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and once again, good morning and good afternoon to everyone. Without further delay, I am going to present, as Engineer Sanyog mentions, today we are discussing about Business Incubation Center. This is a very important element in the Tibet Institute or in any Tibet system which support to equip the entrepreneurial skills to the Tibet graduates. That's why first part I am going to talk about Business Incubation Center or step to entrepreneurial journey. My presentations will cover introduction, why do we need Business Incubation Center, elements of Business Incubation Center, and Business Incubation Center in Tibet institutions. So these are the topics I'm going to present. Like, what is incubation? First, we have to start with incubation. Everybody know the incubations. We sometimes we get, we have put in incubator, recently born baby. Sometimes they put in incubator, something like that. But originally it came from the hatching part of the chickens. So when it is a process, incubation is a process where we put something in a right temperature under the right condition. So we have to create the condition based on the different aspects. For example, in the hatching the egg, we have to give right temperature and we have to create a right room conditions. In this process, mother bird sits on her eggs until they are ready to hatch. So always mother birds cover that egg by her the wings. That's why this is a very good example of incubation. So we can understand what is incubations. So now business incubator. So what is business incubator? Based on the concept of incubations, business incubator can be an enterprise or an institute who nurtures young firms, helping them to survive in their early stage. Means the organizations who create an environment or enhance the capacity of youth to start a business, So in that place, they will learn about the business proposal, about the feasibility study, whatever, and all the business related environment. That's why this is a place where they learn about the startup process of the business. And similarly, the incubators provides infrastructural support, for example, space, or assign space for that, equipment, tools, other materials, papers, whatever, and platform for networking. From that, incubator will provide platform for networking. Means incubator will link, either if that is from the industry, they themselves will be a very great networking organizations. Otherwise, if the BIC is established by TVET Institute, they will facilitate youth or graduates to network with the industry or big companies. And same times, the incubator will provide management assistance and other specific service as per need. So incubator will not nurture the young for the startup business. They will provide place, buildings, other infrastructure, labs, facilities, and networking platform with the big industries and other stakeholders, sometimes with the financial institutions, and necessary management assistance. Sometimes, the startup business has to write a letter to concerned department, concerned authorities like business development service providers. In that time, incubator will provide management assistance as well as other services as per the need. That's why the business incubator can be an enterprise or an institute who nurture the firms or young to start a business. So now we can talk about business incubation center. So we understood about incubation, we understand about incubator, and what is the business incubation center? Business incubation center is an organization or an institute or the assigned place which accelerate the growth of success of entrepreneurial companies. And these companies or these organizations, this place, that center will provide physical space, capital, coaching, common service, and networking connections, as we already discussed. So business incubation is a dynamic process of business development. So business incubation, we can say now, as per the like a chickens hatching process. Similarly, business incubation is a hatching process for youth who want to be an entrepreneur. That's why it is a dynamic process for business development. So if we see these pictures, two pictures, we can easily understand that in the first pictures, the coach or mentor, they are supporting for the data analysis, feasibility study, maybe business plan development, and how to generate resources. After getting all the services from that business incubation center, then he or she can be hatched, like the chicks comes from the egg, Similarly, a youth persons can be an entrepreneur. So this is the process where we can get all the things from that is called business incubation center. So that's why BIC is a place where we hatch a persons to be an entrepreneur, okay, startup entrepreneur. So BIC, according to this source, business incubation center always inspire a person, industry interface, and always, they can conduct with the entrepreneurs interview. And the business incubation centers can provide guest lectures and seminar to the potential entrepreneur or TVET graduates. Means they motivate or they inspire to be an entrepreneur. So the business incubation center will provide HRD or business development services for the potential entrepreneur. So this is a motivational aspect. And another part is like a BIC works for innovations, like innovate, sometimes entrepreneurial labs. So business incubation centers creates many entrepreneurial lab or new startup business innovation center. Then opportunity of the presentations of their performance, their product, and research support. Same times BIC will provide research support and pre-market study, so feasibility study things. So BIC works for innovations or creations. That is another aspect of the BIC. Similarly, BIC incubate business plan preparations. BIC provides services of business plan preparation, skill development training, as if necessary. The BIC can provide additional skill development training. That's why if we able to develop business incubation center within our institute, we can utilize our training facilities for the skill development part, for the advanced training, if necessary, reskilling, upskilling things, one-to-one mentoring, and investor meet. So BIC will can network easily with the investors or potential financing institutions. Then they provide the venue for the meeting point, and similarly, initial marketing support. So BIC will provide initial marketing support. Marketing is a very difficult task for a startup business to a new entrepreneur, because they have to link both forward linkage and backward linkage of the business. So BIC can connect that new entrepreneurs or who are in the incubation centers with the market stakeholders. So these are the three main aspects work done by BIC. They inspire, they innovate, and they incubate. Okay. So parties involved in BIC. Who are the parties involved in business incubation center? Always incubator. Incubator means the place where we can start business incubation things. So incubator can be a TVET institute, can be a separate center. Like there are many, like we can understand some countries they call technology park, science and technology park, innovation center, business incubation center. There are different names. Science and technology center. These all are related to business incubations. That's why incubator itself, it can be an industry, it can be a TVET institute, or it can be a specific organizations. And another parties will be entrepreneurs. Definitely for business incubation center, we need the support from different entrepreneurs. And who involved in that incubator, like a new entrepreneur. Similarly, TVET institute, like if our graduates, they want to be a new startup entrepreneur, means TVET institution's role will be very important in this BIC, and ultimately customers who buy the product from that business, startup business from business incubation center. And similarly, policymakers. In every country, if we want to establish business incubation centers, the role of policymakers is always vital, because they have to bring different laws, different policies related to BICs. There should be a very clear-cut policies related. What is the responsibilities of incubator? What is the responsibility of TVET institution? What is the responsibility of entrepreneurs and customers? All the things are there. Similarly, financing agency, so bank or other financial institutions, because they can provide seed money for the incubations. And other stakeholders as per need, maybe for business plan development, other lawyers, accountant, different business development service provider, other public sectors agencies. Similarly, local community, means if we want to establish a BIC in our Tibet Institute, so you can get support from local government, municipalities. That's why their role also very important. Based on the circle size, like policymakers and financing agencies, their role is bigger compared to other stakeholders and local community. That's why their size is small. So these are the key parties who are involved in the Business Incubation Center establishment. Okay. So now I'm going to present one video related to Business Incubation Center. Please watch it. This is from Pakistan.
Business Incubation Center has been working since 2009 with the collaboration of HEZ, providing mentorship to various startup companies at the University of Agriculture, Faisalabad. We are a vision to develop an entrepreneurship culture and capacity by creating knowledge-based enterprises. BIC is nurturing startup companies and young firms by helping them to grow and survive when they are most vulnerable. BIC activities include Student Startup Business Center, Incubation and Accelerator Program, capacity building seminars, business plan competitions, also technology displays and expo. There are 3 QIT companies, 4 startup companies, and 24 graduated companies, which is an achievement for BIC. We provide management guidance, technical assistance, and mentorship to startups. BIC also supports startup companies by providing an array of targeted resources and services. We facilitate entrepreneurs with well-equipped laboratories, extensive libraries, and powerful computer systems. BIC also conducts different types of capacity building programs for mentoring startups. We provide continued assistance in preparation and implementation of feasibilities and business plans. We also provide startup finance to students for entrepreneurship. BIC UAF has created working relations with various startups and well-known companies. Salient agreements were signed with UM Enterprises Karachi for technology transfer and NS Jaffer Biotech Private Limited. Moreover, consultancy agreements were signed with the First Microfinance Bank Limited, JK Agricultural Farms, and Punjab Skills Development Fund, along with a few others. DICE-AF S 2017 is a focused strategic initiative of DICE Foundation, which is led by University of Agriculture, Faisalabad, in close collaboration with a consortium of selected universities, the government institutes, along with agriculture and food industry. UAF has established the Student Startup Business Center with the collaboration of the Promotion of Education in Pakistan Foundation and Higher Education Commission of Pakistan. The main objective of SSBC is to promote entrepreneurship among students. The center has selected 4 students and providing them each with 2.25 lakh rupees funding to start businesses of their own. Business Incubation Center, converting dreams into reality.
Okay, thank you. So now I'm going to talk about benefits of BIC for Tibet institutions. What are the benefits? The BIC's Business Incubation Center can provide, facility benefits or its importance to different aspects. But for Tibet institutions, what are the benefits? Enhance employability of graduates. If we manage BIC properly, definitely the employability of our graduates will enhance. That is, you already seen the example from that video. Then promote entrepreneurships. So it will promote the entrepreneurship, and our graduates will focus self-employment or entrepreneurial job rather than job hunting or wage employment. So we can convert our graduates as an owner, not as a servant, through entrepreneurship. Similarly, strengthen linkage with industry. So if we establish properly, systematically BIC, we can easily, develop linkages with industries, because strengthen linkages with industry is the vital or key jobs of the TVET institutions to implement 21st century skills or quality skills programs in our institute. So if we establish BIC within our institute with the support of industry, it will contribute to our regular program as well. So strong relationship, partnerships, and networking with industries will strengthen. Similarly, ensure community service. If we establish BIC in our institute, or if we work strongly with BIC, other like outside BIC, we can ensure community services, means like local government, local communities will coordinate with us. We can work together. These are the key importance benefits for the TVET institutions through BIC. Similarly, ultimately, when we are able to get those 4 elements, automatically image building of institutions will happen. So if we manage BIC properly, the institutional image will be very strong in the society. Benefits of BIC for entrepreneurs. So previous one was for institute, but now entrepreneurs, the new entrepreneur like our graduate, what will happen? The new technology products gets developed. So as an entrepreneurs, if they involve in the BIC, so they can able to develop new technology or products, because that is a kind of innovation center. We can find the new products, new technology, new innovations, new packaging, whatever. Informed investment choice, and entrepreneurs get information about the different options of the investment, like information about bank, information about cooperative, information about NGOs. There are many NGOs who are supporting for the small and micro enterprises. That's why we can get fund from them also. And possibilities for takeover. So if the business is very good, if like a startup entrepreneur who involved in as an hatching process, they can take over whole that business concept and they can move to the outside as an independent entrepreneurs. Or the existing big entrepreneurs, if they are supporting for the BIC establishment, if that business is very fruitful and found very new technologies or like innovation things, the big company can take over that small business as in their ancillaries company also. So that is also a possibility. So this way the entrepreneurs can benefit. And what will be the benefits for corporate world? Low cost innovative centers. So big companies are corporate world, they can do some research, they can do some innovative research with low cost innovation centers. So no need to establish totally by themselves. They can utilize that BIC as an innovation center. Possibilities of takeover, as I already mentioned. So big company can take over that business or that technology or that new innovation things. And the innovative products are branded. Sometimes, as I already mentioned, BIC means we cannot say only business incubation center. There are different names based on the country. Innovation center, technology park, business incubation center, or enterprise development hub, something like that. So if the products are very innovative, that product, the big company can take over and they can make that product as a branded product. That is the opportunity for them. What is the benefits for government? Economic development. Through the BIC, entrepreneurship development will take place, and many youth will convert as an entrepreneurs. So economic development, then business activities will take place, capital will be formed there, capital formation, tax, lot of things. That's why economic development will take place. That is the benefit for the government. Similarly, social benefits. because of the BICs, many people can get jobs, many people can be an entrepreneurs. That's why unemployment rate will reduce, crime rate will reduce, and they will contribute and they will convert as an assets of the society rather than liabilities. So automatically the government will get lot of social benefits, harmony. We can imagine even within our house, if all family members are doing income, there is no crisis, there is no problem of money, everybody are capable, means that house will be very harmonized house. There will be no conflict, everybody will be happy. The elder brother might wait for younger brother for dinner, younger brother might wait elder sister for dinner, because of the income capacity. But same in opposite scenario, in a house, if one person's on and other person's doesn't on, means there will be conflict. Same thing happen in the country. So if most of the people are employed or self-employed, then society will get benefit. There will be no conflict, there will be harmony, and social benefits will captured by the government or by the nations. That is the another benefit. Similarly, attraction of innovation. So when BIC able to do some innovations in product, innovations in technology, or innovation in packaging, innovation in distribution, whatever, or innovation in networking. Innovations means not only technology and product. Innovations can be in packaging, innovation can be in distribution, innovation can be in networking, partnership. There might be many. So the government, because of the innovations, there might be many attractions. So many people will follow the BIC. So that will be benefit for government. Okay. So those are the benefits because of BIC. So how can we manage BIC? So management part of the Business Incubation Center, as other things, first we have to do planning. To do planning, we need an awareness program. So if we want to establish Business Incubation Center in our institute or any other place, partnering with industries, or you can get funding support from government and we can establish in other venue, whatever. First, we have to conduct awareness program to our students, to our graduates, to our stakeholders, community like a mayor or government. We have to do awareness program. If all the parties which I presented in previous slide, all the parties who involved in BIC get aware, then we have to conduct feasibility study. Is that feasible or not? So feasibility study is second steps. Based on feasibility study, we develop strategic plan of BIC, or in other terms, we can say business plan, strategic plan or business plan of BIC. Then based on the business plan, we will develop resource plan. What are the different resources? Resource plan means not only money, IVMs, money, machines, materials, market, methods, management. All we need, and human resource. Then space plan. Then we have to plan space. Like if one TVET graduates want to start a business, so we can make a different space. Like one can be 10 square meter, another can be 15 square meter, another can be 50 square meter based on the business. Like if somebody wants to do the car maintenance things, maybe they need more space than a grocery shop. Or design or handicraft things. So that's why we have to develop a space plan of that BIC. How many entrepreneurs we can accommodate in that place. Then partnership plan. So what are the potential partnership? To whom we can do partnership? So all this plan is the part of planning. So when we complete this planning part, then organizing means based on plan, we have to assess business plan of graduates. So when we complete our BIC's plans, then we call business plan from our students, our graduates. then we can assess their business plan. If they want to stay, if they want to be stay as an incubator in the incubation center, in the incubation process, then we have to assess their business plan. Is viable business or not? Or that is innovative or creative or not, like that. Then manage space. We have to manage space for all the potential entrepreneurs. Then manage resources. We have to give them resources like electricity, water supply, other materials, tools, equipments, papers. Maybe we can create within the BIC. We can create common photocopier like Xerox machines, fax machines, or let's say lab. No need to give them individual laptops. Maybe we can create one computer lab. So all 20 entrepreneurs can use in that computer lab. So we have to manage resources. Then sign MOU and MOA with industries. So big company, large company or medium companies and students. So if we are implementing BIC, we have to sign MOU or MOA with both, with industries and with our students or potential or graduates. Then governance and management. So we have to ensure very good governance and management of that BIC. That comes in the organizing part. So implementing part, operate BIC. Based on that organizing, as when you complete the organizing things, then we have to operate BIC. Monitoring, we have to do very regular monitoring. That's why we have to develop the monitoring plan also, how we will monitor that center. And coordination and communication is very important to run smoothly that BIC. And the final task is evaluating. So we have to evaluate that BIC, like we have to do evaluations. So did we conduct or manage BIC based on our plan or not? So what is the status? So we have to do evaluation, then feedback management. So that's why planning, organizing, implementing, and evaluating is the management activities of the BIC. So we have to do, so we can create this type of cycle, then we can easily manage BIC in our institute. So failure and success factor of BIC. Now I'm going to talk about what are the failure factors. So I'm not going to explain in detail. And so just you can see here. If incomplete understanding among stakeholders, like within the stakeholders, if we do not have clear understanding, there might be a part of failure, So in the beginning, we have, that's why I told there should be a MOU and MOA, and every stakeholders should understand what are the roles and responsibilities of them to manage BIC. If the roles is not clearly, and they didn't understand properly, it might fail. So what will be the success factor? So based on that, stakeholders should know and understand the subject and system of BIC. So they should know what is the subject, what are the system, how BIC will run, what are the responsibilities. All stakeholders should know. That's why awareness part is very important. Another failure factor is the business incubator is not embedded into the overall development policy of the country. So if the country, each and every country, they should have a business incubation policy. But if the countries, they don't have business incubator policy as business incubation system in their development policy, it might be a failure factor. Means policymaker will not understand. So there should be a clear laws, policies, rules to manage BIC. That's why strong policy and incentive supports from government and other stakeholders is important. Then only we can make success. Okay. Not sufficient financial resources. When we will not get adequate financial resources, then it will be a failure factor. That's why sustainable mechanism of financing. We have to create sustainable mechanism of financing. Inadequate management competencies, then provide entrepreneurship training. That is a very important part. There is no sufficient demand for the service portfolio of business incubator. If there is no sufficient demand, like if we implement BIC or allow startup business without doing proper feasibility study, means that we cannot understand the demand side. That's why it will create a problem. So in-depth market need assessment to provide demand-based services. That is very important to be a successful entrepreneur. And no low-cost infrastructure. So in BIC, we have to give low-cost infrastructure, because if we go for very hi-fi infrastructures, maybe our TVET graduates cannot manage, cannot pay for that, infrastructure. So always we have to focus on low-cost environment, provide affordable low-cost facilities. So what are the failure factors and what will be the success factors? So this is a kind of tips for failure and success factors of BIC. So who can be a potential sponsor? If we want to establish BIC in our TVET Institute, who can be a potential sponsor? So you can approach them. Government agency, definitely government can support. There are many government agencies who support for business development things. Local government, always, local government will support for that type of things, because that will directly benefit to them, their people, their citizen. That's why local government can allocate some fund for the operation of BIC. The large and medium industries, always large and medium industries will support for BIC, because we already discussed the innovations in the brand or product or technology. The large and medium company can take over that business as an ancillary business. And real estate, construction and sales companies, they can also support in their related field, especially in constructions sectors. And SME development and support agencies. There are many SME, small and medium enterprise or small micro enterprise development agencies in the country. So they can support for business incubation center. And local economic development and trade agencies. There are different trade agencies, local economic development authority, they can support. Academic institute like universities or big polytechnic also can allocate some fund. Big others, and no need to establish BIC in each and every institute. If there is a collaboration between 2, 3, 4 polytechnic, so in one institute there might be BIC, but other polytechnics will support to that BIC, and their graduates also can start their startup business in that particular BIC. So there can be a collaborations between polytechnic institute, higher education institutions, and non-profit organizations like NGOs, INGOs, non-governmental organizations, international non-governmental organizations, they can support. Occupational associations like farmers. If we want to establish vegetables related value add business or agro processing business, the farmers association can support. Electricians association can support. Plumbers association. There are many occupational associations, so they can support for the business incubation center, because then they can get very good technicians from that place. And financial institution, definitely different financial institutions will sponsor or support for the BICs. Okay, so these are the potential sponsors or the financial supporting agencies, so we can think to establish. Okay, that's why BIC for entrepreneurs competencies, business incubation centers always provide through TVET Institute, like we discussed already. They will get knowledge, attitude, skills about entrepreneurships, and same times the BIC will provide them innovations, creation, and risk, how to get risk and the resources. Then they will able to establish their enterprise. After completing business incubation process, they can move from that center to independent marketplace, and they can start their business. That's why total entrepreneurship process, entrepreneurship might take place through BIC. That's why BIC has a very important role to equip entrepreneurship competencies to the TVET graduates. This is my last slide. So incubation is one of the single most important global innovations of the 21st century. This is the quote of Jiang Zemin, president of China. He was president for 10 years, 1993 to 2003, because of his, that idea, that vision. So now everybody knows what's the position of China. If you give one product today, within a week, China can produce millions of fish. And they have a lot of innovations. Even we cannot imagine China can send those products. Like they can make easily Muslim religion related product, Hindu religion related product, Christian related, Buddhist religion related product. So they have a lot of innovations because they have a lot of incubation. So in China, most of the Tibet institutions, they have incubation center by themselves. So this was the speech given by the President Jiang Zemin. That's why China became one of the successful entrepreneurial country in the world. Thank you very much. Now I would like to request to Mr. Sangyog to present about some examples of the innovation centers, business incubation centers established by different countries, different Tibet institutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Dr. is visible?
It's visible. Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. Good morning once again. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ram Lamitsane, for highlighting and giving us insight on what is business incubation and parties involved in business incubation center benefit from business incubation center, specifically for entrepreneurs, and how to manage business incubation centers and failure and success factor for business incubator centers. So now we have basis to go further. So now I'll move forward. So let me start with the quote. No first-time entrepreneur has the business network of contacts needed to succeed. Like Dr. Raman Lamitsane also mentioned, in planning phase, we have to have a awareness program. So the first-time entrepreneur who has a startup entrepreneur, they don't have any contacts, where to go, how to promote their business. So an incubator should be well integrated into the local business community and have a steady source of contacts and introduction. So as mentioned by Dr. Journal, that in planning phase, when we are going to establish incubator, so there should be awareness program. The people should know about it. For so many people, it's a very new concept. And so it has to be, so we have to do some kind of promotional activity and people should know about it. So this is a quotation by J. Samit. So today my presentation will cover what is BIC, startup business cycle, services offered by BIC in Tibet context, global initiatives for BIC, way forward for Tibet, and conclusion. So what is an incubator? So already Dr. Raman Lamitsane had already mentioned, so I'll just review it. So it's a physical or virtual facilities that aid the development early stage SME. It's a virtual or physical facility for the early stage of small and medium entrepreneurs. Provide temporary business support services aimed at building viable independent business. It's aimed for the development of business for the startup entrepreneur. Critical in helping SMEs navigate the challenges present in early stages. So it is business incubator is for the early stage. Those entrepreneur or technopreneur who like to establish enterprises, for them, we have the business incubators. It's not a training center that trains people for employment within established firm. it is temporary. So it is not a training center, but it is equip you with the entrepreneurial skill, some technical skill, entrepreneurial skill. So this is very temporary. It depend upon the occupation and what you aim for. It vary from a week to month and maybe year. So it depend upon the occupation you are going to establish the enterprises. So startup business cycle is like this. So everything starts from an idea. Like suppose I discovered a ball pen or dot pen that writes in every surface, like in metal, in a wood, in a cement, in a blackboard, everywhere, dot pen. I suppose I discovered a dot pen. So I have an idea, but how to market that dot pen, how to sell that, how to make income from that. So I don't have any idea. So I have to go to the business incubator service startup center. So there they teach us how to market my dot pen, how to have a financial linkages, how to obtain loan, how to make a network, how to have how to increase the sales. So BIC help us startup phase. So then I'll after the BIC, the business will expand. I will start producing more dot pens in 1,000 in quantity. So the business will expand. So expansion. Then after maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years, the business will be matured. So the enterprise is in the maturity phase. So in this way, entrepreneurship develop from one idea, then the startup in a business incubation center, then it expands on a business, then lastly maturity, where I don't need any support from business incubation center because we are already, it's a professional organization, it's a factory or industry where I produce many quantity of ball pen, dot pen to sell it. So this is how startup business cycle works. Now services offered by incubators type like one of the services, business development services. Description, services aimed at strengthening the business expertise of entrepreneur and the business system and strategy focus of the enterprise. Examples, business strategy support, system support, access to market, access to finance, mentorship and networking. Second type is provision of physical space and resources. The provision of space in which SMEs can conduct their operation. Space we provide in the BIC. Space is very, very important. Incubator offer various combination of basis office space, sector-specific resources, and meeting facilities. Example, office space, technical equipment and specialized facilities, meeting room facility, and conference room. Those are the example. And the last, the BIC will provide funding, the provision of actual financial capital to SME or the facility of access to financial resources. So it can be grants, it can be equity, it can be debt, or it can be loan. So these are the services offered by the incubators. Now, BIC in Tibet context, why we need BIC in Tibet institution? Tibet institution aim to produce technopreneur or entrepreneur. And ultimately, the technopreneur or entrepreneur, after the Tibet Institute, they will establish small and medium enterprises. So that's the aim of our Tibet institution. And foundation is industry, institute, or enterprise partnership. This is very, very vital for establishing BIC in our institute, that there must be very robust, very strong institute industry partnership. Without this, this is almost impossible. So this is very, very important to have a good partnership with the many industries and enterprises. Mechanism, sharing the resources. The industry, the enterprise will share the resources, deploy expert. They send us expert in technical area, entrepreneurial skill, like developing business planning, sales, accounting, customer relation, those things. Experts come to the BIC to teach our Tibet student, formulating roles and responsibilities, who does what and when. Like our Tibet Institute role and the business and industry role, we have to be clear in the beginning, who does what and when. And scheduling of transfer of and schedule, we have to prepare who comes when, how our student will be rotated, how all students get benefit from the BIC, that schedule we have to prepare together with the industry or enterprises. So space is very important. The BIC mostly in Tibet institution premises. In a few cases, it can be if in an industry. If there is a need of very, very heavy equipment and very, very huge type of infrastructure, then maybe our student can go to their industry or enterprise and there they learn entrepreneurial skill. So now I'll give you some global initiative for BIC, like in Asia Pacific, Africa, North and South America, Australia, Europe. So I'll cover those continents. And the examples are, some are networking, some are regional collaboration, some are project-based, some are public initiative, some are private initiative. So it's a mix of example I'm going to present you. So Asia Pacific. Now let me start with the Asia and Pacific. So this is a Malaysia, Polytechnic Kuching, Sarawak, Malaysia. I visited this Polytechnic in February 2020. So they have 5-6 business incubator in their premises, like from bakery item to the mechanical things, tools, like that. So this is the picture of their BIC, Business Incubation Center. And they have planned it in a way that in a rotation, all students get a chance to have trained in BIC by different experts from industry and the enterprises. So they have planned it very well, and I visited all the stall, and it is very well functioning. So this is an example of Malaysia Polytechnic, Kuching, Sarawak. Then Philippines, Business Incubator for IT, Cebu. INIT in Cebu, the Philippines. Cebu Business Incubator for IT is a technology business incubator made possible by the University of the Philippines, Cebu, UP Cebu, and Department of Science and Technology, PCIERD, and is located in the campus of UP Cebu in Cebu, Philippines. It aims to create an environment where technological innovation can be created and deployed to solve real problems and nurture a startup business to success. So as we have been talking, that this will help to technology innovation and solve real business problem and support new startup entrepreneur in business. The vision of the TBI is as follows: to be the most successful interdisciplinary incubation facility in the Philippines, helping technology enterprises be sustainable and successful commercialized technology innovation. So this is an example of Philippines. So Pakistan recently, 9 January 2020, Prime Minister Imran Khan has launched a Hunarmand Pakistan program 2020. In this, 50 business incubation center will be established in the public sector of Tibet Institute to promote self-employment and culture of entrepreneurship. NAPTEC is launching Business Incubation Center in support of the Prime Minister Startup Pakistan campaign. BIC by NAPTEC is based on a similar program of blended incubation by the Higher Education Commission. The Higher Education Commission Awards program is designed on the model developed by Business Incubation Center in higher education institution. The initial pilot aimed to provide 75,000 entrepreneurial training and mixed incubation to graduate 500 startups from mixed incubation center across Pakistan. So this is the Hunarmand Pakistan program 2020. It covers the 14 Tibet-specific intervention for the uplift of the Tibet sector and will be implemented all across Pakistan. And one of it is established of 50 business incubation centers. So this is an example of participant. This is Pakistan. So they are going to launch this Hunarmand program. Nepal. Business Incubation Center Kathmandu is a project funded by Information for Development Project of World Bank Group and supported by Federation of Nepalese Cottage and Small Industries, FNCSI, and IT Professional Forum. So it's a project funded by World Bank Group and called Information for Development. The Information for Development project started in 2002 by World Bank Group to establish BIC in many all over the world. So I'll give you other example in my upcoming slides. So under the undergoing incubative selection process, like call for proposal was made, 39 proposal were received, ICT 18, agro-based. So the incubation center will provide entrepreneurial skill and technical skill on ICT, agro-based product, herb-based product, handicrafts, energy-related, and others, my mineral and multimedia, etc. So workshop for solid state incubators conducted. Workshop for those who are incubators have already been conducted. So it's a Nepal. And one more example of Nepal. This is a British College of Nepal. This is a private college. So the British College Business Innovation Center is an entrepreneurial platform for the budding entrepreneur. The BIC aims to encourage and support students to learn and participate in entrepreneurship activity and to encourage idea generation and innovation. So services, events for the entrepreneurship and startup management. BIC will be organized grand annual business idea competition where interested students with business idea will get chance to submit their idea proposal. If selected, they will have to present the detailed business plan. So this is their planning, how they are going to offer the service, and the mentorship, training, and development. The BIC will offer mentorship, training, and development in creating effective business plan, marketing strategies, financial projection, risk management, inclusion of sustainability and inclusive management in business model, and startup management. So it's an example of one of the private sector of Nepal, the British College. Now India is also incubator hub. Now you can see in the picture that there are 5 to 6 main hubs in India. One is in Delhi, another one is Mumbai, and Chennai, Bangalore, Kerala, and Hyderabad. So those are the hub for incubators. So business incubator and accelerators in Mumbai, like Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, SINE, IIT Bombay. SINE extend the role of IIT Bombay by facilitating the conversion of research activity into entrepreneurs. So they are aiming for research conducted by different entrepreneurs and convert that into the business venture. Financial assistance is provided by DST. Infrastructure is spread over 10,000 square feet, can accommodate about 15, 17 companies. Unnecessary equipment for incubation is linkage with IIT Bombay. So UNLTD India works with large stage social entrepreneurs. So this is for the social entrepreneurs. Program include incubation and intensive accelerator and a co-working facility for social entrepreneur called the Hub at the rate of Mumbai. Co-working space for NGOs, the Hub. 3-tier seed funding going from 80,000 to 20 lakh. So they also fund for the entrepreneur from 80,000 to 20 lakh rupees. So another example is from Microsoft Accelerator, 4-month of accelerator program with intake of 2 batches. Summer batch application start in November and winter batch May. Provide free software and development tools by Microsoft BizSpark program. Another is NSRCL IIM Bangalore, physical incubation facility at IIM Bangalore campus. Support included subsidized facility like office space. They provide office space, power supply, infrastructure, and service like financing, how to finance, how to get finance, legal advices, human resource management, and offer seed fund under DTI, DIT, TID scheme. So they also offer seed fund for the startup entrepreneur. So Asian countries strengthen SME and technology business incubator. As you know, the Asian countries are Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, and Vietnam. They form an Asian business incubator network, close to 100 representatives from the regions, technology business incubator and startup convened at the first meeting of Asian Business Incubator Network, ABI-NET, project on 2 to 3rd August 2018, Jakarta. The ABI-NET Net project is a multi-year project designed to promote SMEs competitiveness, strengthening of TBIs through capacity building, regional networking, and linkage among the incubator. So they form this network to capacity building for the BIC expert, regional networking, how to network, how to exchange faculty, maybe other thing, and linkage among the incubator in the Asian region. So this is a initiative of networking. Another initiative of networking is incubation network in Asia. So you can see the logo of the incubation network in Asia, and the website is www.acn.org. incubationasia.org. Incubation Asia Network covers the following countries: Bangladesh, China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Micronesia. Those are the very, very small islands like Marshall Island, Nauru, Polamilo. So those are 7, 8 very, very small islands. And Mongolia, Nepal, Philippines, Sri Lanka, Thailand, and Vietnam, Vietnam. So Incubation Asia, the Asia Incubator Network, was formed in October 2007 to work on the areas like policy making, stakeholder awareness, manager training, working with universities and other research and development bodies, technology transfer, internalization of firms, grassroots social and rural incubation, incubation in the Pacific. So Incubation Asia Network is formed for those bullet. You can see the 7 bullet. So for that purpose, they have formed this Asia Network, and you can go to this website and explore more about it. So Singapore, example of a National University of Singapore has incubation program called the Hangar, which is on-campus based to house startups and entrepreneurs as they nurture their business ideas. It is thriving hub where diverse individuals come together, united by their entrepreneurial curiosity and passion to brew and explore possible, even improbable ideas. NUS constant stream of events and programs draw individuals all over the local entrepreneurial scene, from venture capitalists to corporate partner and government agencies, providing the community with merit networking and learning opportunity. So this is an example of Singapore. In a National University of Singapore, there is a BIC called the Hangar. So this is how they are operating. The Hangar startups are well fueled to take their entrepreneurial journey into the new heights. So this is the aim of NUS. So now China, the Tianjin Women Incubator, TWBI, based in China, has created more than 4,000 jobs in incubated companies, provided business information, assistance to more than 21,000 women, and promoted women's incubations inception in 1988. There are now 3 women incubators in China and more under consideration. The TWBI also provides microfinance and has a strong link with the Tianjin Commercial Bank. So they have a link with the bank to provide finance to the women, helping bridge the financial gap, which can be serious impediment for women entrepreneurs in China. Many clients are in service industries, one of which is the GLE Child Care Center and preschool, with 3 centers providing services for children of migrants to Tianjin and employment of more than 20 laid-off women workers. So this is about the example of China. So Thailand in Kenan Institute of Asia and the Office of Vocational Education Commission, OVEC, developed the Kia Asia Business Incubator in 2003 to assist aspiring entrepreneurs in Thailand, especially in rural residents who typically lack funds. So it targeted for people who lack funds and necessary basic business know-how. So Kia Asia BI is currently focusing on assisting entrepreneurs to realize their business ideas while expanding to include information and communication technology utilization and international business practices. So Kia Asia was involved in strategic direction, linking Kia Asia business incubation with partner organization, coordinating with InfoDev, researching best incubator practices, ICT uses, and customizing them for Thailand. OBEC coordinated with Kia Asia to identify the 5 ideal incubator location sites to evaluate the KIBI plan with regard to facilities and staff resources to be allocated for the business incubator and assist with future tenant recruitment. Both organizations work closely, OBEC and Kia Asia work closely together to bring on-site or off-site incubation services to as many locations in Thailand as possible. So this is an example of Thailand. So now Africa, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe has a number of initiatives which include the Harare Institute of Technology, HIT. It is a collaboration between the Embassy of India and the government in Zimbabwe. HIT has been promoting the incubation concept in Zimbabwe, laying the foundation for entrepreneurial development. The institute's mandate is the development, incubation, transfer, and commercialization of technology as well as human capital together. So they aim for the transfer, commercialization of technology, as well human capital for greater national industrialization. The Zimbabwe Technology Center at HIT promotes technology transfer and also introduces new technology in various fields in support of SME. The center offers training to SMEs in manufacturing tools and components. So they help also in manufacturing tools and different components. Such empowerment initiate foretell well for entrepreneurial development in the SME sector with the help of the state. Other center provide incubation like Bulawau Polytechnic, SETCO, and Chitungu was a common facility center. So this is about Zimbabwe. So Kenya, a business incubator KKOB emanated from a grant by the World Bank Group. Again, the World Bank Group, the InfoDep program has supported them in 2004 to establish institutional mechanism for supporting small enterprise development through ICT enablement. The first InfoDep grant to plant the seed of business incubation in Kenya came through a proposed Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT, Center for Business Innovation, which evolved and culminated into the establishment of National Umbrella Institute with the objective of establishing business incubators country-wise. The goal is to create healthy and wealthy businesses in the community. The incubator strives to build local capacity in targeted business community, which includes university, alumni, youth, human-owned businesses, business owned by the disabled, and other. Raising awareness, promoting the appropriation of ICT by local entrepreneurs and small businesses as tool to address their short and long-term development goals. So this is about the example of Kenya. Now North America, USA. So there's a Genesis incubator. USA is a initiator of BIC, by the way. The Business Incubator Center concept was developed in USA, and there are so many incubator in USA, and there is also Incubator Association in USA. So Genesis Incubator is a technology-oriented business incubator housed in the Engineering Research Center of the University of Arkansas. The Genesis project was established by the University of Arkansas and funded by the Arkansas Science and Technology Authority to facilitate the development of technology-based business enterprises and the resulting prospective increase in employment. Genesis was launched in 1986 with grant funding for 2 years, $550,000. Genesis' addition to its business incubation role was founded to deal with the issues of technology transfer, commercialization with a focus on the capacity of university to assist startup firm to grow. So also this is for startup firms to grow. The College of Business and Engineering, along with chemistry department, play an important consultation and service role within the project. So South Africa, now Mexico, I have taken the example of Mexico. Again, the InfoDep funded work program will accelerate the technology-based business incubator, IEBT, located at the University of Guadalajara to make more effective use of ICT for creating new and competitive Mexican companies, both small and medium, that can participate in the global economy. So again, targeted for small and medium enterprises. The InfoDep funded work program is expected to further strengthen linkage between the institution and higher education, enhance their capacity for teaching and research in the manner that impacts not only on the existing sector, but also on poor and unemployed people in the region. The project objectives are to design and deploy an online training portal for incubation and innovation, manage training room, transfer knowledge for incubation and innovation, networks for incubation and innovation. So Australia, so there are also many incubation centers in Australia. But I have taken one example of Sydney Business Enterprise Center, SBEC, operates within 3 centers: business incubator, business training, business support. Thus, the business incubator is located within a rich framework of business development measures. Business development and incubator client is principally achieved by the incubator manager, the manager of SBEC, and other SBEC staff, helping make linkages within this framework and monitoring the result. The overarching strategy of SBEC approach to ensure that the salaried staff of the center work at identifying linkage points across the organization so that sources of advice and assistance can be readily tapped by SBEC tenants. Approach aided by SBEC work cross-fertilization of knowledge and contacts across the multiple component of the center activities provides the information and networks which help SBC tenant and client to survive and grow. So Europe, there's Turkey. I have taken example of Turkey. The incubator was established as a part of Ankara Cyber Park, which is a university-related science and technology park. So this is also science and technology-related park. The guiding mission is to serve research and development project group, technology-based startup firm, small and medium enterprises. The internationalization of firm operating within the incubator is encouraged through the Europe and International Knowledge Network with which Cyber Park is associates. The incubator services are especially targeted to raise awareness and promote the lesson ICT by small businesses and enterprises as a tool to address their short-term and long-term development goals. This is about the Turkey. So now I have given you these all example of different continent and countries and mixed. Some are initiatives, some are privately owned, some are publicly owned, some are TVET Institute owned. So now way forward for TVET institution. Despite many challenges and issues involved in managing business, there are many challenges like partnership with the industry, the funding part, the management of the incubation. So though there are many challenges, the following are the way forward for the TVET institution. Require change in the TVET institute environment from traditional school management to an industrial management. So now we have to change our mindset in TVET institute that traditional school management, now we have to change ourselves the industrial management system. So we have to operate our TVET institute like an industry, so that we were so close with the industries. Empower professional teacher and student to create an industry atmosphere. So we have to encourage our teachers, students to create an industrial atmosphere by positioning student as junior. Now we don't call them student, let's call them technician or salesperson. So like that, already it's like an industrial environment. Provide a student with industrial exposure as much as possible. Business incubation processes produces technopreneur. Thus, TVET Institute education should be geared toward producing graduate for self-employed. So now we have to target for self-employed and not for the salary employment. So BIC target for self-employment. Business incubation respond to the specific needs and requirement of potential entrepreneurs in the region. And TVET Institute should proactively address untapped. So there are some, so like I show you the ASEAN regional network or the Asia incubation network. So we can have those kind of networking benefit for our TVET Institute. We have to proactively explore and be and always try to get the benefit for those type of networking. TVET Institute management need to have network and strive for maintaining partnership with industry. And this is very vital. I already told you that the partnership with the industry and the enterprise is very vital in order to implement business incubation model successfully. Seek for funding with donors like World Bank Group, the Information for Development. Those funding, if we get, we can establish BIC in our TVET institution, and we can generate income also. So this can be generated activity of generating income by establishing BIC in our premises. Other public and private organizations to establish BIC within the TVET institution. So we have to seek the benefit from public and private organization to establish BIC within our TVET institution. So this is a partnership of this. We have to have a partnership, and as our director general told you, we have to sign MOA and MOU and have a very good, very, very good and strong relationship with the private and public organization as well as a donor. So in conclusion, when properly planned and managed and have high quality services as well as facility and manufacture, business incubator have a strong potential for a good return on investment. So it has a very good return on investment because more and more of our graduate will be self-employed. They will establish small or medium-sized enterprises for to produce entrepreneurs, also to produce technopreneurs who will, through their enterprises, provide employment and contribute in national economy. So whatever we are doing, TVET, through BIC, self-employment, salaries employment, we are doing this for the contribution for the national economy. First, TVET Institute must be serious on implementing business incubation model to produce competitive workforce for self-employment. So I have given this flow chart like TVET Institute we have to have support from industries, from enterprises. If we can have, we should have donor funding also, and public-private funds also we have, and networking. So after that only TVET Institute can establish business incubation center in their premises, and ultimately we will produce the young technopreneurs who will be establishing small or medium enterprises and contribute in national economy development. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sanyog ji, for very elaborate presentation. There are many questions. I have collected these important questions here. So I'm trying to respond these questions. Number one, what is the difference between apprenticeship and incubations? Thank you very much. Very good questions. You know, apprenticeship is a methods of delivering competency-based skills training programs. Normally, apprenticeship is a process of training delivery, or let's say competency skills development. Apprenticeship means three parties, like apprentice, TVET Institute, and industry. So in a week, maybe 5 days or 4 days, students or apprentices will learn competencies or real practical skills in the industry, and remaining 1 day or 2 days they learn theory part in the institute. So this is a kind of dual training system. That is the apprenticeship. But incubation means when TVET students graduated from institute, so they can be graduated from apprenticeship methods, or they can be graduated from our traditional TVET delivery method. So if they want to start their business in their particular relevant subjects, they can stay as an entrepreneur, startup entrepreneur in incubation, where the incubation centers provided facilities. That's why apprenticeship is a training delivery methods, but after completing apprenticeship programs, they can stay in incubation to be an entrepreneur. Okay, hope I clear your questions. And there is another questions. Initially, how much cost is required for establishment of BIC on local basis? What parameters are required for establishing? I think this is a very vague questions, not specific. How much cost is required for establishment of BIC? I think you can give clear answer. What size of BIC you want to establish? Like how big? How many startup entrepreneur can stay at a time? So that depends upon the institutional plan. So BIC business plan will answer that. So I cannot give exact answer for this. The cost always comes with your capacity, the areas like space, how big space you want to establish, how many startup business or let's say incubator you can establish within that BIC, and what type of business establishment. If you are talking about like a high-tech thing, technology, mechanical, engineering, or IT, the cost might be higher. But if you want to establish BIC related to agriculture or other like a tourism, hospitality, when in hospitality, if you want to establish bakery, or let's say kitchen, restaurant, maybe cost will be higher. That's why the exact cost is depend upon your business plan of BIC. Okay. And third question is, what are the basic skills need to the responsible persons who operate the TVET Business Incubation Center? So basic skills to operate TVET Business Incubation Center means important is management skill, because the operator who manage the business incubation center may not require technical skills. They need managerial skills and how to manage institute, how to operate that. If that BIC is operating like a business-like manner, means you need entrepreneurial skill. So to manage business incubation center within the TVET Institute, you need a managerial skills and you need a business-like skills, or entrepreneurial skills. That's why these two things are very important. Basic skills within management, like management means planning, organizing, coordinating, communicating, facilitating, evaluating, all comes under the management skills. So if you want to run like a business like did, you need entrepreneurial skills, like a business like manner. Okay. So question number 4, how many rules are there is in evaluation? I think I couldn't get this answer questions clearly. How many rules are there in evaluation? I am not clear about these questions. So could you please elaborate your questions again? You can send in chat box. Maybe you are talking about types of evaluations or rules of evaluation. There will be two types of normally summative evaluation and formative evaluation. Formative means during the course of actions. Summative means at the end of the like a program or project. And that's why I couldn't understand clearly. So please elaborate your questions. And another question is how we can get benefit from BIC of TVET Institute. I think I already answered this in my presentation. Benefit of BIC for TVET Institute, benefit of BIC for entrepreneurs, benefit of BIC for corporate world, benefit of BIC for government. That we already answered. Please go through my presentation. What are the main challenges to operate the BIC for TVET institutions? Yeah, very, very valid questions. To manage BIC within TVET Institute, the main challenge is resources. You need resources. If you have a lack of resources, even inadequate resources to implement your regular program, it will be difficult for you to manage BIC. That's why management of resources is major challenge. Second challenge is management itself, because you have to manage different parties like industry, big industries, financial institutions, your graduates, or potential entrepreneurs, your staff, then government. So internal and external environment you have to manage. So that resource is major challenge. Similarly, industry network and linkages is very difficult task, not easy task. And another is management. That's why if you are very smart in networking linkage, then you can generate resources. If you have a very good PR, public relations skills or networking skills, you can bring many industries to support your BIC. So this is a very important task, like institutional management, that is additional job burden to manage BIC. So you can create BIC as an independent institute within your institute. Then you can manage well. Do we have successful models in TVET in Asia Pacific region for BIC? There are many. There are many. Different countries have different BIC. I already told. Some countries use entrepreneurship development center. Some countries told startup business center. Some country use technology part. Some country and science and technology part. So in China, Korea, even in some in Philippines, India, Pakistan. There are some I think in Bangladesh also, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. We have a lot of examples, So it depends on country, and there are many good examples in Australia about the business incubation center. So the Job Australia has supported to TVET Institute. That is a very good example of this BIC is in Korea and China. If you want to visit, if you want to do benchmarking, you can explore there through your government to that another government. They will help for TVET Institute to give more exposure about BIC. And many countries, they have a science and technology park that is also part of the business incubation center. And last question is, who will ring the bell? Government, business community, entrepreneurs are not playing real roles as a whole. If you get a pool of these participants, how many of them are using licensed copy of Microsoft Office, a great and useful product? 100% computer-enabled people use it for their needs. Thank you very much. These questions, I think this is a very vague questions and a little bit confusing question also. So maybe you are talking about who will ring the bell, means maybe to get a licensed computer package or to start BIC. Anyway, first, if we want to enhance employability skills of our graduates, definitely we have to initiate to establish BIC by TVET Institute. So we can start awareness program from today. So you can talk with industry, you can talk with local government, you can talk with other government agencies who are supporting for business development or entrepreneurship development. You can talk with your higher authority. You can talk with alumni, like your former graduates, alumni. They might have many business. If your polytechnic is very popular and you have produces thousands of graduates and many of them are very successful, might have very successful entrepreneur. So you can talk with them. Then you can start the awareness, then make a BIC implementation plan or like a feasibility study and start by next year in a small level, like if you are conducting 3-4 different trades in your institute, you can start like 5-6 business centers within that BIC, means 10 startup business. So think that way. So you have to ring the bell first, because you will get a lot of benefits, because TVET Institute can enhance their image by establishing or coordinating or partnering or support to establish BIC. I think you got the answer. So, but the question itself is very complex. That's why I couldn't answer properly. Anyway, thank you very much for all the great questions. Hope I covered most of the questions. Once again, thank you very much for your valuable questions. I think there are not other questions. So thank you, Sanyog. Is there any questions, Sanyog?
Yeah, there is one question. In context of Nepal, very few initiatives active as an incubators. What would you like to suggest to concerned stakeholder to carry out from here in Philippines to Nepal, so that they will come to share the success story of Nepal like other around the globe? Just share your presence. Who should lead the way and how? So let me answer this. So as our respected directors already told you that first start with the policy. If you have a like TVET policy, TVET Act, or other educational policy, if you have this BIC provision there, so it starts from there. Then after that, TVET authority like CTBT or other TVET authority can always go for the partnership with the industry and the enterprises, and or seek for a donor fund and establish incubation center in the technical school or colleges or university. So this is how you go. The only way is seek for the donor fund or go for a partnership with the industries and enterprises. And in that way, and there must be a government support also. So in that way, you can establish BIC in Nepal also. And one day it may become popular and will be one of the example in our presentation also. Thank you very much.
And there is one question from Sunila Bania. I think she is from Nepal. the need of one graduate may be different from the another. In this case, how will BIC provide service for both? The investment will be huge if mechanical. Thank you, Sunila ji, for your very good remarks. Not questions. Definitely, every individual, like each and every graduates, they might have the different dream. One want to start a business related to mechanic. Another want to establish business related to, let's say, agriculture. So if the institute want to establish BIC within the TVET Institute complex, they have to develop incubation related to what they are teaching in their institute. Please don't go to other subjects. Then it will create a lot of problem for management. So if we are teaching mechanical, only we have to develop facilities for mechanical business. If we are teaching agriculture and tourism, we have to give space for agriculture related business and tourism related business. So in a small startup, that's why it's up to the decisions of the TVET Institute, because we cannot do all the sectors, because you need a lot of resources, time, like 5 years, you need 5 years. So the business incubation center and facilities should be related with the subjects what we are teaching in the TVET Institute. So regarding the capacity or the infrastructure, it depends upon the feasibility study and business plan, how much money we can invest as an TVET Institute, how much money we can generate from partners, how much support we will get from related industry, how much support we will get from local government, how much support we will get from the federal government and other stakeholders. Maybe our alumni can support, alumni association can support to establish BIC. Maybe 5, 6 space they can develop. So it's up to your networking and management skills. That's why this depends upon the business plan of BIC itself. Thank you very much. I think we cover all the questions. Once again, thank you very much for Sanyog ji and all the distinguished professionals, TVET experts, TVET professionals, principals, directors, deputy directors, great instructors, and all the managers of the TVET Institute. Once again, on behalf of Colombo Plan Staff College, we would like to thank for your valuable time and professional questions, inputs, suggestions, and dedications to make success these webinars. Thank you very much. Thank you, my team. See you again. Goodbye. Namaste.
Thank you all. Namaste. See you in the next webinar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Bangladesh.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you very much.
Everybody,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.